best at what he does. There is no better.
What's special about him is that he's like a lot of players who make people around him better. If Kevin is your lead, whether he's your play-by-play guy or he's your number one on radio, he makes you look good. The most talented moderators, the most talented hosts do that, and that's what he's really good at.
The regular season closing in chilly New York, where the Giants run into the future, hoping a win over Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys can jumpstart their offseason. Hi again, everybody. Alongside my partner, Daryl Johnston, I'm Kevin Kugler. We'll check in with Allison Williams on the field in just a moment.
I didn't have any other discernible skills. That was really the main thing, honestly. I was a business major in college. Didn't like it. Didn't work out well. Tried to figure out what else I was going to do. My mom said I always said what the announcers said before they said it.
Harry Carey with Steve Stone and Tom Brenneman from Wrigley Field.
I was just watching the game and just enjoying the art of guys who are getting paid to sit in a booth and do a broadcast. I never actually put myself in that position. I never thought I'd be that guy sitting in any booth doing any game. I enjoyed the ability that these guys had to explain the game. I tell people all the time, a lot of the baseball knowledge I learned from a broadcast, learned from Steve Stone, watching Cubs baseball every afternoon as a kid. And so I figured I'd give that a try, and that's how it happened.
Well, Bill, special teams doesn't always get the attention that the offense and the defense do, but today,
NETV called over to the KRNU newsroom asking for someone to do sidelines for the Shrine Bowl. I said I'd do it. I'd never thought about doing TV. I'd never had any exposure other than my college classes to television.
We were putting a new sports format on the air in Omaha, which eventually became 1620 The Zone. We were looking for an afternoon show host. I'd known his reputation. Kevin had been doing UNO sports for years by himself. We paired him for a guy who was working at the time at WOW Radio, Bob Bruce, and it turned out to be pretty much what we were looking for.
I had no talk show experience, but Neil gave me the chance to do this show, and Neil stood behind me through the growing pains. When Westwood One acquired the rights to NCAA properties, they didn't want to do the preliminary games of the College World Series, and the station did. It was a big deal for Omaha, still is, and they wanted to produce those games for themselves. And Neil put in the contract with Westwood One that Westwood would use somebody from the station on these broadcasts. And so that somebody was me. So I was on the sidelines for Westwood One, and the guy from New York, Howard Deneroff, who became the executive producer of Westwood One Sports, was producing those games. And that opened a door for me.
2 balls and a strike.
2006, I got the chance to be their lead college football and college basketball guy, and that's really where it took off. On a national level, I was told a long time ago that the more people in your life that can take credit for your career, the better career you're gonna have, and there's a lot of people that can take credit for me. I mentioned Neil Nelkin, one of the most influential broadcast people. Even before Neil, Jim Carmichael. Jim was a major influence in my life, massive influence in my career, in my life.
You've heard the old phrase, there's no place like home.
I started with NET in '94, and my role grew. My first play-by-play was the high school volleyball championships. I was just out of college, and then took over Big Red Wrap-Up a few years later and did that for a long time.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to NET's Big Red Wrap-Up. I'm Kevin Kugler.
It was an awesome experience. I stayed with that show longer than I stayed with anything I did because I loved it so much. It gave me the opportunity to learn, to grow, and to do everything. I called volleyball. I called football. I called basketball. I called baseball, softball. I did a rodeo. I got to do wrestling, soccer, you name it. I got to call it. And I would have never been able to do any of that anywhere else. My versatility as an announcer was made at NET.
Drifting out is Bolt from short. And the dream, once improbable, is reality. Nebraska is going to the College World Series.
I think the best quote about Kevin was from Howie Deneroff, who at one time was the vice president for Westwood One CBS Sports. Howie told me, he says, Kevin Kugler is our Bob Costas. You can put him anywhere and he excels. He's like one of those Leatherman tools. When you need somebody on a broadcast, Kevin's the one you want.
2018, I got my chance to do my first NFL game as a member of a crew. I've never had anything I've done, thankfully, cause my phone to blow up as much as that did from people all across the spectrum. It was really cool. Something went right, fortunately for me, and I've been able to stick with Fox, and it's been a thrill.
16, he wanted the screen and now flips it out to Bellinger. Daniel Bellinger on the run. How about this one? Touchdown, Giants.
I am a complete homer when it comes to him as a broadcaster. There's less than a handful of people that are as good as he is. I don't think that there are a lot of people nationally that are better than him. I know Kevin to the point where he doesn't necessarily love being acknowledged. He wants to do his job, do it well. Hey, great job, let's move to the next thing. He did every job that came along. He did that job as well as he could. He took on things that were uncomfortable and did them very well. That's a Hall of Famer.
You look back at who's in the Hall of Fame and what some of these people have done over the years. Kevin fits it perfectly. He's the epitome of a young Nebraska broadcaster. To me, he's still a young Nebraska broadcaster. He gets the job done. He makes everyone around him feel good about it. And if anyone belongs in the Hall of Fame, it's got to be Kevin Kugler. The guy is so good at everything he does. That's why I'm so proud of him. He thinks I mentored him. He mentored me. I learned more from him than he ever learned from me.
I have been convinced over the years that not many people really understand what I do for a living. I'll say, I work for Fox. They go, oh, KPTM. And I say, no, Fox, the network Fox. And they're, what? You do? So it's very confusing as to how I make my living. It's sometimes confusing to me how I make my living, but I just tell them I broadcast games. I'm the voice you hear on the radio or TV. And, my wife's an attorney by trade. And so, what do you do, Michelle? Well, I'm an attorney, contract law, blah, blah, blah. Kevin, what do you do? I say touchdown. That's the job that I have. I say touchdown, occasionally home run or three-pointer. That's my job. And somehow, some way, I've been able to keep doing it all these years. I love what I do. And whether it's radio or TV, it's the people you work with, it's the relationships you have, it's the fun that you have on the broadcast. To me, that's the difference. If you can have fun and it sounds like you're enjoying yourself, there's a better chance somebody who is watching or listening is going to stick with you because you're having fun with them.
As we play on at the College World Series in Omaha on the Westwood One Radio Network.